Deze is hartstikke awesome Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I am Jeff Doss. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for joining us on another episode 304 of Inside Scoop. And as you can tell, we have a special guest with us, Andrea Guzman. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We're excited to have you, first-time guest, and we have a lot to talk about over the weekend. And again, a first-time thing for you happened over the weekend that we'll get to as well. So we were just talking about travel and stuff. You got home late last night. I did as well. So we had a pretty interesting. Alex and I always talk about this. Sometimes some of the most interesting things happen before the show, and we just don't push play, right? So it's just like talking about travel and stuff is always fun, especially when you're in small areas like myself and you.
Yes.
We'll bring that up because I've never been away from an international airport. I've always been pretty close,
Right.
whether it's Minneapolis, St. Paul International Airport or O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. Say what you guys were saying before about how you have to like go from one rinky-dink middle school size airport to the what do you do?
So I grew up in South Florida, so I was also the same. I grew up in the suburbs of Fort Lauderdale, so I always had either Fort Lauderdale International Airport or Miami close by to pick from. But since I've come up here to Gainesville for school, we have a small regional airport, and whenever I go to tournaments, I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not. I thought it was, but I would personally rather travel from Gainesville just because it's like 15 minutes away from my apartment complex. So it's such a small airport that you also don't have to get there 2 hours ahead like you
That's
normally do for international ones. I can get there about an hour before. It's the same staff that checks you in that also boards you. So it's like you kind of get a very personal experience. And I always have to connect. So I was saying that Charlotte is like my second home now because it's the airport that I usually connect in the most. And it's also the first airport that I travel to independently. So special place in my heart.
That's
Well, I'm
awesome.
glad you and Charlotte can get along, but there's no way that this is the best and most efficient way to travel. It just doesn't. I mean, if you think about it, all right, Jeff, let's look at it like this. Okay, Jeff, you need to go to Target because you need to get,
Oh man, here we go.
I don't know, plates,
Alex, break it down.
towels,
Yeah.
and napkins. Okay, so you got to get those three things. You want to get them all in one shot. If you go get the first time you just get plates, are you walking out with just plates?
No.
Exactly. Exactly.
I understand.
So the more times you go, the more expensive it'll get. The more times you're in an airport, the more expensive it's going to get. They're not giving you this out of convenience. You are going to spend triple trying to get the close flight because I'm 15 minutes from my house. Just to get in the car, go 2 hours, spend the $20, $30 for parking, and just get to where you got to get to.
I guess, yeah. But I feel like I also would rather spend more time in the place that I'm traveling to. So then it's also convenient because I can travel later back because then I have to account for the 2 hours.
Listen. I get it. I've done both. Okay, so again, like I was saying, when I look for a place, I usually have to look up, like for a flight, I have to look up like 8 different airports. Part of that is exhausting, right? It's like, all right, let me check this, and by the time I forget, because I'm literally 2 to 3 hours away from like 8 different airports within where I can go. Like, and a lot of times I fly out of Charlotte or Raleigh, and so yeah, and then some when I go international or I go to Canada, I'm flying out of DC. That's another 3 hours. Or so it's crazy. And so this is why this time I took the train, because I didn't want to drive through all the tolls and the craziness of New Jersey. And it took me it took me the same amount to get there. And then last year, remember I told you last year, like it took me 9.5 hours to get home on Sunday. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And tired after a long tournament. And this tournament,
that doesn't matter how you did. You're angry.
Yeah, exactly. No matter
There's
how.
only one outcome you could possibly have from the tournament that could not leave you angry, and even that's a stretch.
Correct. So, welcome to Inside Scoop, Andrea. Like, this is what we do, right? We talk about planes, trains,
Hey, wait a minute. I got another question though. As far as traveling, do you have at this point in your life? Do you have like, listen, this is just the airline I'm gonna go with. This is just the one I like. Yeah,
American. Usually American
What
most
is it
of
for
the
you,
time
Jeff?
does a
It's
good
the
job.
same. Yeah, American. And a lot of that's usually because of that's the only airline.
Yeah.
Let's see.
American and
you-
Delta from Gainesville are the only ones.
That's I like American as well. I don't know what it is. I think O'Hare is it's like a hub for United.
Mhm.
But listen, I don't really give a dang. They cancel flights left and right. So if somebody here has anything to do with United Airlines, you guys suck. Right? But
Oh man, that's good stuff. All right, so first off, congrats on your championship. You won your first CMX overall grand championship this weekend. Tell us about that experience. Tell us about how you feel, and just break it down.
I feel like it still doesn't feel entirely real. At the same time, I don't know. I feel it's been a long time coming. I've been on the stage a few times, and I'm kind of still new to the NASCAR circuit. So I was talking to one of my friends at the tournament, and I was saying how I was talking to Rose actually, and I was saying how when I joined the circuit, there's just so many different goals that you could set for yourselves. So it was like short-term goals, long-term goals. So a short-ish term goal for me going into the NASCAR circuit was just to get on a team and to do well in divisions, to kind of put my name out there, start getting recognized, and then network enough to then get offers from teams. That was a short-ish term goal. I know it's still hard to get on a team, but that's just kind of what I had learned from the outside looking in, that like teams are very important. It's always nice to have a support system, and I have always loved demo teams, so that's why CE was always a big kind of goal for me. And then the next goal was just to make it to stage, because coming from ATA, they don't have a night show. So I'd always thought that was really cool, just to be under the lights, perform. So that was the next goal. And then
we were going to ask you about that too, by the way.
Oh, okay. And then after a while, it was just, well, I've been in the night show a few times. Now I kind of want to win an overall. I feel like I'm capable of it. I mean, I've been training. My division is very hard. There's just so many talented people in it, so it's always hard to kind of like get the overall. But I just felt that if I trained enough, if I kind of focused in on that goal in mind, then maybe I could achieve it. And thankfully I did.
Awesome.
I mean, I think you went about it with your goals, your short-term goals and expectations. I mean, I think you went about it the right way. As far as like what those ones were, like, okay, I got to this point, you know, I want to do well in my division. I want to hear my name called. All right, now I'm doing all right. I'm talking to other people. We're training. Can I win that? Can I get close to, you know, getting first or second? Now I'm winning it. Then I made a stage. Like, so then, yeah, you're going about it the right way. It's too often people train. And this is what's crazy. Every karate school, martial arts school has got someone in that school that you would look at and go, oh my gosh, you could be a world champion in like a few weeks, and they have no idea. And they go to their first or second event at that level. They get smoked because they have no experience, and they never come back. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
patience is very important, I feel like, in this circuit, and to never lose sight of what you're working towards.
Definitely. Yeah, you're talking one of the most patient people. So been around for a long time. But anyways,
I thought you were
so
saying that in reference to having to do the show with me.
well, there's that too. There is that too. See, there's a lot of different ways, like
That's
deal with a lot of
True.
people.
why I almost spit out my coffee.
So Andrea, talk about you won this in a different way as well as by like, hey, I don't want to say the easiest way, but the way to make sure that hey, I want to make sure I definitely win it by winning every single division, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Um,
like another like way. Like that's awesome. How's that feel?
that also feels good. That was also the first time that had happened to me. So I've made it to stage by winning. I think before it was 2 max. I won the first time that I made AKA stage a few years ago was I won musical and extreme. And then every now and then I'd win a creative or an extreme. So that was also a first for me. So that was pretty crazy and surreal. I think that the mentality of going into it, ideally I did want to do that. Going into the weekend, I wanted to be able to come out with all 3 forms division wins to then just make it to the night show and hopefully do a demo. But there's different types of competitors. There's different mindsets to creative than to extreme. So I normally feel like I'm more of or people see me more of an extreme person, musical and extreme, just because I trick. So creating this is actually a new creative form that I came up with. Trying to focus in on more dynamic kicks because I feel like that plays to my strengths more. So that was the first time that I threw that form. So I also felt like it was nice to be able to hit it and then come out with a win too.
Nice. That's awesome. That's the way to do it.
Yes, I was saying I love this approach.
Yes.
However, you said a word that made me almost jump in, but I had patience. Okay.
Yes.
What do you mean by dynamic kicks?
Well, I'd say there's like stationary and there's dynamic. Coming from a Taekwondo background, I was always taught stationary kicks, but like I said, the women in my division are very good. So I feel like the height that I get in my kicks, I'm also a little bit shorter, so it doesn't favor me either. So I like to use the extreme approach of doing either like more jumps, more like pop 360s, just trying to play by the limits of the creative rules, which is normally what Haley does and what Noelle does. So try to go to that strength.
Okay.
Is it all right if I ask you a different question? I don't think we were planning on. I just really like your approach towards competition and your mindset. I just feel like you got like a 44-year-old mind trapped in your body, right? But I'm curious, who are some people that were in this division in years past that you remember that you were like, if I could be like one day I want to, who would those people be?
So, like I said, I came from ATA, so I didn't really grow up with a lot of NASCA legends. However, my instructor,
ATA ones.
Yeah, my instructor from ATA, Ileana Garcia, referenced a lot of NASCA competitors when creating my forms. So I started off with sword, and that was not a choice for me. That was when I was like 8 years old. So when she gave me,
hey, this thing's popular, you're gonna want to learn this thing. You were like, nah, I'm good.
No, I guess I just wasn't really, sword was not meant for me. So she knew that, and she handed me a pole one time during a private lesson that we had when I was like 8, and she was like, no, you're gonna do bow staff. So when she started, and that's how I started doing bow staff, and I still do it to this day. So I'm still pretty thankful to her for that. So when she started creating forms for me, she would reference the Presleys, Jackson for bow staff, and then open hand, it was always Kenzie Emery. So I always grew up watching Kenzie Emery, and I feel like her technique, her tricking is always still something that I reference now when I'm creating my own forms. So that would probably be the female competitor that I look up to in NASCA.
That's awesome. Now, again, let's go to some of the ATA stuff. So, and let's just talk about, you referenced a little bit of coming from ATA to NASCA. Right. What was like the biggest change, difference? Maybe a lot of people still don't really know much about ATA. Like, they really follow our show. They mostly know open martial arts. side. So give us a rundown of just like your story from there.
I feel like so I started martial arts when I was 6. My best friend at the time, we did gymnastics together, and I would always drop her off, kind of carpooling her to the martial arts class, and it was an ATA school. So whenever we would drop her off, the instructors were always just so welcoming to me, and that just kind of made me want to start martial arts in general. So they would let me hop in class even though I didn't have a membership, and then eventually I begged my parents enough after I took a trial and then took a 2-year hiatus from that trial to when I actually started a membership. And that was just because I did so many sports at the time that I didn't have time to add another one.
And
But
how old were you again?
I took the trial when I was 4, and then I officially started when I was 6. But I was creating commas with colored pencils and paper. Like I would just cut out a blade with paper. I'd create foot gear with paper, like copy paper. And my parents were like, no, she definitely wants to do this sport.
How did
So
you know what those things were if you were only there for a
Just
trial? Like this is
for
wild to
trials
me.
and watching my friend do it.
Just
So
from
I would go to
watching.
her tournaments every now and then, and I'd look into the classes. So I don't know. I just remember the memory of creating the commas and everything. So that's when my parents were like, okay, like we have to put her in. Like she has to get an actual comma and like actual foot gear. So from then on, I started doing classes at that ATA school. And then I started competing shortly after in regional tournaments, and then moved in through like the ATA national tournaments. And then I won my first world title in ATA at 13. And like I said, NASCA was always kind of in the background. I kind of knew
Like, you
about
knew
it.
what you knew where it
I knew
was.
what-
You knew that there
yeah.
was this
Yeah.
thing.
And
Which
then
is different because I think if you asked almost anybody within the NASCA events if they knew anything about ATA, I would be willing to bet most of them would not.
yeah.
But you did. But you knew.
Yeah, and there was always the Pan American tournament, which is
Yep.
local to me.
Mhm.
So
Well, that'll do it.
when-
Said, well, that can do it because
Yeah,
if there's a big event, like why would you not want to go?
Yeah, and when I won my first world title, that's when I was like, okay, I'll try competing in NASCA just at that local Pan American tournament, just to see how I would do. And Michaela Francisco, I don't know if you know that name, but
Yeah.
she was a big competitor of mine in ATA, and then she moved to NASCA. So my first Pan American tournament, I went up against her and Olivia Rando. So I got third to them, which to me was a big feat because I was exposed to a new type of talent. Olivia Rando is amazing. I was exposed to a new type of talent that I wasn't used to, even still competing in ATA to the world champion level.
Sure.
So it was nice still being able to place behind them. So that was my first experience at Pan Am's.
When you did that at Pan Am's, did you feel like, even if you're like, all right, well, I lost, did you feel like, but I belong? This is where
Yeah,
I
I felt like there was an opportunity, and it gave me motivation to go again the next year. So that's kind of what I started doing. I don't know if I went every single year, but I went the first 2 years that I won world champion. So 2017, 2018, and I think I went 2019. And 2019, I actually won a division
Nice.
at Pan Am's, and I won a ring and everything, but I didn't know that it was a 2-day tournament, so I didn't show up to runoffs.
No.
I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't
Of
know that was a
course.
thing, and I think that I had made so at that time I knew Haley kind of because I was doing a sync team with my friend Daniel Rivera in ATA, and he's from the Orlando area too, so he introduced me to Haley, and we were somehow friends, and I think that she was the one that texted me that I should have like I should have been there, or that's how I found out. I found out through a text. I was like, oh, well, I also had sync team practice the next morning, so I wouldn't have been able to make it. But that's when I found out that it was a 2-day tournament and that they had runoffs. But I still have the ring, so that was pretty cool.
So this is funny as
This
you're
is
saying
the
this,
best.
Andrea. Yeah, because I mean, anytime you're going from different league to this, right? I mean, and I I dealt with this from going from NASCA to NBL and then NBL back to NASCA with all the new changes and stuff, or helping people, or even like right now, I'm taking some of my students that I took from open tournaments to AAU Taekwondo and then now to NASCA. And it's like a crazy, it's like, no, you need to be here, way before. No, you need to stay just in case, hey, after you win, you need to go to runoffs. And
You
honestly,
gotta check. Yeah.
even this weekend, like, and again, we're going to get into the tournament, like Amerikick, there was a new thing, like on my end, as far as for the 40 plus overall grants. A lot of the guys, the adults left. They didn't know about it. A lot of the females are like, wait a minute, what is going on? We got called back to do this. And then they're like, and just there's still so many new things, even for people within the sport that compete all the time. And when people add new stuff, it changes things, So it's
every tournament is also different too. I feel like especially when it comes to adults, for a time, we wouldn't know if they would run us off.
correct.
So I remember just like standing by and seeing and asking around to see if anybody would be able to tell me if we were going to run off, what time, not knowing if we were going to make it straight to stage. So there's always that too.
Yeah, I mean, like last year, I did the same amount of divisions. I did the same amount of stuff, but I didn't do as many forms as I did this year, because I didn't have to do 2 runoffs. Last year, I had to do 2 extra runoffs. This year, didn't have to. So that was nice. I like that. But I mean, it's a whole nother thing. And then, like you said, the whole thing of going to a night show to a finals, that's not something in ATA. And I think the only time that I know they did some on ESPN. I don't know when the last time that was. But
so I grew up going to the Orlando National Championships at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. So that was nice. And the night shows kind of remind me of what I grew up watching back then. The year that they canceled it, I was supposed to go against Reina in the ESPN show.
Wow, that would have been
Man.
That's what she told me, but then they ended up canceling it. So that would have been nice. I never got that experience of doing that, but I always watched it and it was really big. But yeah, that's the closest that they ever had to live stream. I mean, that's the only time that they were ever live streamed. But even still, like, I remember transitioning into like that first year that I competed at Pan Am's. In ATA, you don't have to ask permission to start. Like, you don't have to go like this to the judges. We usually used to not start in the corners either. So it was just even different thinking about the approach of my form, of what all these things that I have to do, battle your competitor before and after you compete. Like, that was all just new to me. And I was nervous that I was just going to forget all these customs when I was just like, instead of just thinking of my form. So I had a lot of things in my mind that the first time that I competed in a NASCA tournament. So,
well, some of those things that you brought up are they're not rules.
You're right.
They're not, like, some of those things you brought up aren't actually rules at all.
Yeah.
But they are, I guess, customs, right?
Yeah.
But if somebody wanted to do exactly what you were used to in ATA, they say, Alex Dingman's up, and I just go, all right, sounds good. And I just walk right up. I could do, there's nothing against the rules with that, but it is so interesting to hear from like what you're talking about. Like, you can be totally in the same mindset and sport of martial arts competition in a tournament, right? Still doing the same types of performances,
same form.
but then feel like you're on another planet. Did it just feel like that? Did you feel like everyone's looking at me?
Yeah.
And yeah. Well,
I just didn't want to seem out of place. I didn't want to seem like the new person coming in. I wanted to seem a little bit seasoned, just because I wasn't sure if I would be deducted for those things, like of starting in the middle instead of the corner, not asking permission from the judges. So that's why I was more nervous about it.
Go ahead. I had another question as well. Who are some people that are from ATA that are competing currently on NASCA? Maybe people don't even know that they came from ATA.
Great one.
There's a lot, actually.
There's a lot.
Growing up, Tyler Weaver was somebody that I didn't know was so big in the NASCA circuit, but was really big, I think, at the same time in ATA. So I knew him from ATA, but coming into NASCA, I found out that he was on JPM and like he was a big deal.
I'm out. What you're telling me is that Tyler Weaver, he was dipping his toe on both ends of the pool.
I
And
guess.
you had no idea that he was even on JPM and that he was this kind of
No.
guy.
I didn't know what JPM was until coming into the circuit. I didn't really
Man,
even know about the
make that up.
teams. I
You
just
can't make
knew
that up.
about competitors, specific competitors.
Now, see, I get that maybe like, all right, the sport martial arts, like our sport martial arts, like we have our own bubble. I get that. But I feel like if, you know, Apple came out with a martial arts competition team and it was with ATA, I'm pretty sure I'd figure that stuff out. I'd hear about that
was
right
really
away.
young too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I
Well,
would just like watch the form and not the team on the back.
Correct.
Yes.
And I think also like a lot of people, sometimes us adults forget what the junior competitors actually look up to. You know, if you're a 1300 competitor, you're probably looking up to the 14 to 17 competitors.
Yeah.
Some of them do look up to the adults, but let's just say you're going to look to maybe the closest age to you, but like right above you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with, I mean, when you're in school, you look up to like, if you're in sixth grade, you're like, oh, the 7th and 8th graders are cool. You think the 9th, 10th graders are old and ancient. You know what I mean? It's the same time.
Yeah, it's a little bit too far.
Yeah. So you're trying to stay, you know, focused on it. Like, again, for me, I looked up to some of the adults when I was younger, but Jimmy Pham was a year or two ahead of me. He was the one we looked up to all the time. Right, Alex? That's who it was. And
I mean,
some of the
I'm older
adults,
than Jimmy, and I kind of looked up to Jimmy.
yeah, exactly. You're older than him and you looked up to him. Yeah. So, but
yeah,
as far as
currently
the other ones, yeah.
on my team, there's a lot, which is also one of the things that attracted me to CE. There was just a lot of people that I knew from ATA, either from hearing about them or actually being close to them. Zeke was a big one. Zeke came from ATA. The Molinas came from ATA as well. Dante, Lee, and they're all on my team. Dax, Howlin. And then I'm trying to think. I feel like I just was talking about this at the tournament. I've definitely mentioned other names, but those are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah. I mean, and Tim's kind of done everything, but Tim Concord did.
Yes, Tim and Rissa I looked up to. So they were from the same area as Reina. So since Reina was a big competitor of mine, I knew of them because they were her coaches. Right. So I always looked up to them too. And I have had multiple conversations with Tim and Rissa about how it's like so crazy that like now we're back in the same circuit, and like seeing how much they've both accomplished in the circuit and in ATA is still really crazy to me, and like still being in the same bubble as them, if not closer now than I ever was in ATA.
That's cool. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. So a lot of people just don't know. Right. And so that's exciting to see. Who are some people that you think, all right, are you still involved in ATA? That's the question. Yeah.
No, not really. I kind of took when I started college, I took it as my last year. So the summer is when we have the World Championship tournament. That summer before I started college, I made it a goal to sweep. So instead of 6 divisions, ATA has 4 CMX divisions. They just have creative and extreme forms and weapons because you can use music for all 4. So I decided to kind of set a goal for myself to sweep the women's division at Worlds, because I don't know if you guys know, but like there is a World Championship tournament in ATA. You have your top 10.
We didn't know that.
Yeah, you have your top 10 throughout the year, and those top 10 qualify to compete in what used to be Little Rock, now it's Phoenix, Arizona, for the world title. So it's kind of like an overall, but throughout the season. So like that means that you can have like you can travel and rank yourself, but it's still the talent in the ring that day that determines the world champion. So I made it a goal for myself to sweep that year, all 4, and then kind of retire from ATA and move on, because I was kind of juggling both NASCA and ATA, but not really traveling to as many. I think that year I traveled to just Battle and US Open. US Open because it was local, and Battle because it was pretty big. And there's also a tournament in ATA in Atlanta around the same area, around the same time. So that was kind of like, I'll win. Ended up with 10 world championship titles in HCA, and then I just decided to move on because Haley was here at UF. We were close. We decided to train together once I got here, so it was like a nice motivator to move on to the next step. I also feel that the women's division here in Nebraska is very competitive, and it also helps motivate me since I knew that I was going to be training by myself most of the time instead of having a school behind me, if that makes sense. So I wanted to still be motivated to train and like to keep improving. And I feel like honestly it was the right choice because I feel like coming into NASCA, I've noticed that I've kind of grown into myself as a martial artist a lot faster.
Beautiful. Alex,
Andrea, you just get it. You know, I just like hearing your process and the way that you like internalize it mentally as well. I just think your approach is right on. But I started to giggle a little bit when you were talking because when you said like, you know, you don't have a school, you won't always have a school behind you. Jeff went 10 years without having a karate school.
Yeah.
And thankfully through Haley and through kind of the NASCA circuit in general, I've been able to find places to train at here. She showed me how to make a reservation at our gym. We have like, there's a martial arts room at the UF gym that you can kind of make a reservation through. Like you have to say that you're a club, but there isn't really a club. There's just 3 of them.
Wait, what do you mean there's a martial arts gym?
They have, it's not a martial
hear what this thing is.
Gym. It's just like a gym. It's a UF gym. They have a weight room, they have a cardio room, but they also have a dance room, a cycle room, and a room with mats, puzzle mats, because they have a Taekwondo club, a judo club, a kickboxing club that holds practices there. So we kind of made up our own club, and you have to submit a reservation to get certain times for the room. But it's nice that you can kind of have that. The problem is the timing. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily work with classes and stuff. So I have 3 places that I train at here. Kind of just depends on the time, when I'm feeling. That's one of them. Another one is a cheer place. It's a spring floor. They have open mat at nights. So if I train,
I hated running forms on those floors.
I know. Yeah, that's
the
only
front stance. You come out of whatever it is that you're doing. You stick a great front stance. Nope, you just bounce 4 steps over.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just kind of doesn't let me know how good my tricking is or how solid my landings are because it's giving me a lot of momentum. Yeah. But so that's kind of like the last resort. And then the third one is a martial arts school that I found out about through a weird way. I applied to a job here at my apartment complex, and the lady who was reviewing my application saw my resume and said a lot about martial arts, and she talked to her fiance who owns a martial arts school. So he reached out to me saying that he read my resume because of his fiance, and if I ever wanted a place to train at, I could train. It's called Star Martial Arts. So shout out to Justin Scobie. Awesome. Yeah, they let me train whenever there's a free mat, and sometimes I'll take classes there. So that's been really nice.
That's amazing. Hey, all I have to say, all that sounds way better than the racquetball courts that I used to have.
Yeah, definitely. At least I have some mats. Sometimes the ceilings for bow staff don't necessarily work out, but I have mats at least.
I was just over here like I couldn't believe it because, again, you got the right approach, but 2, like you got options.
Yeah, it's nice.
No,
18, 19-year-old. I wasn't looking at options. I was like, just tell me what can I do this? All right, fine. I'll just do that. And then you just kind of figure it out, you know, but man.
Yeah. I used the basement of my dorm and I would be doing stuff and then I would stop training when someone come down because I'm like,
yeah,
this guy's weird. He's over here, kicking and doing stuff. But yeah, that was how I created the knee kicks. Alex was actually in the basement of my dorm.
And I feel like that's also a very interesting thing. And I also feel the same way, that I don't like when that many people look at me when I'm training, just because I love what I do, obviously, but it's just like you get the same questions all the time.
Yeah, we get that, but you just gotta say,
because
everyone's good, because everyone's going to be staring at you. But you know who else everyone's staring at? That person who dead sprints on a treadmill, right?
Yeah.
Everybody looks at them too. All right. Yeah. What are you training for, a bear attack? Like, calm down, but everybody's staring because how can you not? So
Yeah.
what's the difference of, suburban sprinter and you running a section? Yours
I'll
actually looks cooler.
do it.
That one looks annoying. You see what I
I'll
mean?
still do it. I just like to avoid the questions as much as possible, especially at a college campus. I feel like you get even more questions. So then
But see,
I'd rather just
I
train.
say embrace it. Embrace it. How about this? There are so many people that have things like that they just can't even go through life without all the questions. Imagine if you were 6'4".
Yeah.
You play basketball. You play so you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But this way you get to control whether you get the questions or not. You know exactly when you're going to get them. Embrace it. Have fun.
All right. What were some of your favorite moments or favorite things that you watched, you saw of the weekend? So again, let's just share, did you enjoy the new venue?
Well, this is my first time actually going to the tournament.
Oh, all right. Awesome.
But I have heard a lot of good things about the venue. I did like the venue. I liked that there was a lot of restaurant and food options in the area. I liked that everything was just kind of central. You didn't really have to leave the venue. And also I liked that we were in the tower that was near those food areas and the ballroom. It wasn't just it's a big hotel, so sometimes I feel like you would have to make the walk. So I'm glad that most of the rooms, from what I've heard, were right there. So that was nice. It was also a very big ballroom. I personally also would rather the carpet in a ballroom area, the carpet like how they do here and at Diamonds and Ocean States, just because most of the time if I'm barefoot, which is usually what I'm doing getting ready to compete, my feet will get really cold and they'll start hurting if I'm in the convention floor. So it's nice getting the padding of the carpet. But yeah, those are just a few things that I liked about the venue.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, what was really cool was just the energy the whole weekend, right? It's cool when you can walk and you see everyone and you're like, all right, well, maybe I'm going to go over here and see what they're doing. Oh, I'm going to go over here and see what they're doing. I'm going to talk to these. And it's just lively, right? And then you're walking around and, I didn't gamble or anything, but I watched a lot of friends gamble. I watched a lot of things going on. And then I'm going to tell you what, people watching there is the best. I cannot share. I promise I was not share half the things I saw or some of the craziest things because you had to be there to see some of these characters. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just tell you this. All right. I don't know. You may not know this reference. Alex, I know you do. But I saw a real live Butthead. Okay. I saw the real walking version of Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. Okay. So Beavis and Butthead was a show.
And you're still like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he just said Butthead. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I literally saw the real.
And everybody who knows what Jeff's talking about, everybody at the same time had the same image in their head.
And you know what's crazy? And he was walking around with one of the little like tiny dogs, and it was like, what in the world, Jeff?
I think the show was based off of real people.
Yes.
You might have actually seen the real Butthead. I don't think that's at all like completely out. I mean, it was based off of two people. You're in a major metropolitan area. Who knows?
Yeah. And I also, so Sunday we get a cab to the train station, and I had the best cat. Like I tell you, it made having that cab driver made me second guess doing Uber ever again, because you don't get the characters that are driving. All right. This guy was all like laughing, hanging out, giving us high fives, and was like joking around saying, oh, let me see if I can hit this guy. Let me see. I mean, it was just like, whoa, like it was just nuts. All right. And
it was an experience.
It was an experience. You don't get that in Uber anymore. You know what I mean? So they're just quiet, right? So yeah. So, and I was able to get a cheesesteak. We went to Philly. Got a cheesesteak, and then I went right back to the train station. So I'm just telling you, overall, I loved the venue, and it was great, and that made it I just felt like this weekend there wasn't that much drama either. I don't know
Mhm.
why.
It was
That
nice,
happens,
yeah.
but it was so much. It was just fun, right? And yeah, just
I also do like the area. It's my first time ever in New Jersey. So it was nice. Also was my first time visiting Philadelphia. So my parents and I went on Thursday. We saw a little bit of like the Liberty Bell, of course, and then the Washington presidential house, the frames of the
yeah,
house. We saw a little bit of that.
yeah.
And then we
Yeah, I
took
was
a trip to New York on Sunday. So it was nice that everything's just so central, especially coming from Florida where it takes you like 10 hours to leave the state. It's nice that like you could just go to we visited 3 different states in one weekend. So it was nice.
beautiful.
That's
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
That's awesome. All right, tell us about just some of the other people. We hadn't really gotten to the competition part, but yeah, some other performances that you saw this weekend.
So I mean your performance is great. I love seeing your performance in the grands. Obviously seeing all my teammates perform. And then I think that some standouts to me were Caleb and Parker, the 2 kids from Florida Sport Martial Arts.
Yes.
I saw Parker at US Open, I think, and I saw Caleb compete at Caps. But seeing them both make it to stage and then seeing Caleb come out with a win was really cool too. They're amazing. They're so young, and you can just tell that they have so much potential. I think it was also nice that Malachi Hurd won his first overall. He went against Parker. So that was cool. I feel like I heard about a few people either getting their first overalls or, like, for example, Rose got her last one before she retired for a little bit. And then Maria also got a nice overall. Like, it was nice seeing kind of more people come into winning the overall titles that you normally don't see.
Right. And, or even their first individual one to get on stage and things like that, and like, I know Quinn has been up there before, but to see her up there twice,
She was actually up there 3 times with Sync.
Oh, that's right. 3. Yeah. With Sync. Yeah.
Oh, actually Quinn is another ATA. So Quinn and I were from the same town. We were on the same demo team. I'd actually taught her demo team when she was like 8 years old. And seeing her grow, she moved to Connecticut before, so she started in the NASCAR circuit before I did, but it's really cool seeing her grow into herself, like I said, as a martial artist, now making the stage. She's gotten so much better, obviously, since when I saw her when she was 8 years old, so it's nice seeing them grow.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, that's the good thing, when you see people. So for me, I enjoy going to Amerikick because I get to see a lot of people I grew up with that kind of stop competing, or they're still in martial arts, but they stop competing, like a Chris Malares and a Nick Perdun. And like this weekend, Roy Bratter, we all grew up competing together, and being, friends and best friends and rivals and stuff. And being able to see each other, it's just fun. And it's exciting because you don't, it's the only time, I get to. Last year, I got to see Chris, which he always does a great job DJing for the finals, and always has fun. So of course, when I won, because he knows me, he plays Intergalactic after I won, and so just funny things like that other people wouldn't know about, right? So that's fun.
I didn't know you competed with Rory.
Yeah,
I met him for the first time in person this weekend, but I had actually met him online through a virtual tricking battle that happened during COVID. He was one of the judges, so it was cool meeting him in person.
Yeah, I remember watching those.
Really?
You said that so slow and drawn out that when you said I actually met him online, and I'm like, where's she going with this thing? But you said it so drawn out. I'm like, what is she about to say?
At a tricking battle.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you want to say it quicker.
Oh man, but yeah, so it was a great weekend, a lot of first, and then there's a lot of big things on fighting. Next, what's funny is Trey, who won the open weight, we're gonna have him next week. He's actually on a bus to go to Syracuse. This is his first semester at Syracuse University. So
he had a great weekend.
So he had a great weekend that we're gonna talk about more next week. Leandra said you need to move to New Jersey. So before we let you go, what are some passions outside of martial arts, and what is like as far as your future in martial arts, but also like what you're trying to do? Like I know that you've been, you're always walking around with your camera and you're doing all kinds of different things. So share about that.
So, for videography, I started in high school. I joined the TV production club, so we competed a little bit. We went to California and New York, and then I became the president senior year of high school. So I came into college always wanting to pursue health, some sort of a health career. Sports medicine been a big passion because of martial arts. So I'm an APK major right now, which is applied physiology and kinesiology. So going through the medical route, planning to apply to PA school next year once I graduate. But at the same time, I didn't want to leave my passion for filming behind. So I applied for an internship at UF. So now I film for the athletics department, the University Athletic Association. I work under them. And I just film all different types of sports that the university has to offer, which is really cool because we have a cool athletics department who is good universally across all sports. And then I get the opportunity every now and then to travel with certain teams. So I've traveled with gymnastics for their national championship. I've traveled with swim for their national championship as well. So they kind of fly us out, and it's like a fully expense paid trip just to film and like work with them. So that's always a cool opportunity. So that was another passion of mine. And in martial arts, I'm planning on just keeping to compete. Hopefully I get another overall eventually soon. Just kind of traveling to the same tournaments that I've been traveling to, competing with the team. It's always nice, obviously, going to the tournaments where we compete demo team. It was nice seeing most of my teammates here, but a lot of them weren't. So it's nice getting the quality time when we actually do train for demo, because we'll spend the entire Wednesday or Thursday together getting ready to compete in the demo division. And then we're kind of just all supporting each other, especially at tournaments like US Open and CAPS, which are big tournaments for us. We'll have like an after night show hangout as well. So I guess just staying the course and seeing where it takes me.
Now, a couple weeks ago or before CAPS, we had all three ladies who are going to be moving up to adults next year. What is your, what do you think are you excited about the future of the women's divisions, especially in those CMX divisions?
I'm 100% excited. I'm close to all three of them. So I've been watching them grow up. I've been cheering them on since they were like in the 14, 15 at least. So it's nice seeing them grow. They've just gotten better. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I feel like once they move in, it can just go to anyone. It's already a very rigorous division. But then seeing the three of them come in is just going to kind of like switch the game more. So it'll be cool. We'll see how it goes at AK. It'll be exciting to say the least, for sure.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, listen, we definitely enjoyed having you on tonight. Congrats on your championships. Congrats on all the accomplishments you're doing in school, outside and inside martial arts. If people can contact you or want them to do some photography or videography, for them, what's the best way for them to reach you?
So for video, I have a video Instagram account. It's just my name and then video. So Andrea Guzman video. Or you could just contact me through my normal Instagram account. Just DM me and then we can make something work. But yeah, I'm looking to get more clients through these tournaments, especially for diamonds coming up. So I love filming everybody. So it's nice. That's awesome. I mean, it's already
I love the process, the video process. But I don't think you really told us, like, have you done much professionally with video yet?
Video? I've started freelancing this summer. I purchased a camera. So now I've started kind of doing my own stuff. So I've been doing the video stuff for the university for about 2 years. But now I've obviously always wanted to film martial arts because I feel like when you know the sport, it's a lot better to film it instead of having like an outside person. Yeah. Like I know kind of when somebody's setting up for a trick pass in sport karate or like a toss.
You got to know where to be. Otherwise, you're just getting crotch shots.
Yeah. So that's what's been nice. I did gymnastics for the longest time, so that's why I like filming that too.
You also.
But yeah,
So Andrea Guzman video, that's a thing.
yes. Yes. And I've been doing a few freelancing at tournaments. I started at US Open. So I've done at US Open caps, and then here at Amerikick I had a few clients.
Beautiful, beautiful. So get with her for your next term. It's going to be diamonds.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Congrats, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
You're a great guest. I hope
Yeah.
you come back.
Yes,
Thank
we'll
you so
definitely need to
much.
have you back. Have a blessed night.
Thanks, you too.
Awesome,
She's
man.
great, man. She just gets it.
Yep.
She's got a really good head on her shoulders, and she's super talented. That's great.
Exactly. So we got to share a lot about the weekend and her and Andrea's her story. So loved about that. Let's get in a little bit about some of the big things that happened as well. We have our fighting champions. We got to share a little bit about our the forms champions. Of course, the overalls. You have Mason Stoa won the traditional overall. You have Philip Brumet, who won the CMX. I believe he won the weapons as well. So you have those big ones. You had, like she said before, Maria won the CMX weapons. Rose won the traditional forms. She won the CMX forms. The traditional weapons was Katie McMillan. The traditional weapons, I believe, for the men's was Alec Jahanbash. So, we had a lot of, great things that happened in there. So many awesome junior performances. Shout out some of the people, guys, some of the winners in the comments below. We did Korean challenge on Friday morning. We did all 3 rounds. I just want to say or thank you to Cameron Whittington for sponsoring that this time with his Korean masterclass. And so, we got some prize money this time. The kids that won got a nice ring. So, that was pretty cool. So one of the cool things for me over the weekend was doing Korean challenge head to head, all 3 rounds. But in the next ring was my student, one of my black belts from my school, doing the same thing, all 3 rounds, and both of us winning at the exact same time. And so it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And so, his mom commented today that was the coolest thing, getting to watch both of us going the same time. And she's saying like how similar his movements are to mine. And so it's pretty sweet. So, but yeah, so that was always fun. Getting to see, I don't know, man, just anytime I get to hang out with Coach Conroy, that's always a blessing. That's always a fun time. And then seeing, my guys like Jesse Ray and Akin Williams, really getting to see those. But I tell you, congrats to Bailey Murphy for winning the lightweight overall. Congrats to Christian Rivas for winning the heavyweight overall. And again, another spread. Okay. Congrats to Savannah for winning the women's overall. I believe Kevin Walker won the 30+ overall for fighting. Don't know the other things. I think maybe I want to say Kayla Mejia won the Kyla, Sam's wife, won the 30+ overall.
Okay.
And then let's see, of course, the night show, we have Paola that won the open weight, like the Amerikick seated open weight. All right.
Right.
And I think that Savannah won the NASCA open weight to get another spot. So she was seated and she had like 2, she made it to where she had like a bye. All right. So that was good. And then you have, on the men's side, let's see, there was a lot of different open weights. All right. So there was like an open weight that Tyreek won, and then an open weight that Trey won. And then those are all
that doesn't make sense.
Qualified. No, those are all to reach spots in the night show, because Bailey and Tyson had the seeds. Okay. So from there, Trey won the whole thing, beating Tyson and Bailey Murphy. So
Yeah,
this dude just had a incredible weekend. I can't wait to talk about it next week with him.
he had some pretty amazing performances.
Ben Clark said straight up winning women's teams, and then also men's teams. A great fight between Impex and Impex KTOC and Top 10, and Top 10 ended up winning that one. Man, I mean, just a lot of great events going on. Some of the some of the things coming out of it. I don't know. Like I was saying earlier with Andrea, there wasn't too much drama. There wasn't any issues, which is great. You know, I mean,
Well, there's always, that's the thing, is that's good when you can leave it going, you know what? That was a good event.
yeah,
We got to have, and you knew, you didn't look at it thinking, man, this is perfect, right? Couldn't have dreamed of better officiating, right? But you're
No,
also not leaving feeling like this is the worst ever. I never want to come back to this event, you know?
correct. Yeah, I mean, for me, I can't complain because again, like I came away with 4 first places, 2 runner-ups, and a grand championship. You know, like it's like, come on, like what can I have nothing to complain about, right?
Yeah.
So,
But
I mean,
and that's the thing, is when you especially coming from you, because you can dissect anything, right? And so sometimes this is, running a tournament is a real thankless job, all right?
Right.
Because you run this, if everything goes perfect, everybody just goes, yeah, all right, it's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's got to feel deflating after running a great event that, you know, you bust your tail, you get out there, you do that, and then the payoff, the way you know it was really good, is if people go, yeah, it was pretty
all
good.
right.
Yeah. But we're
Right.
so grateful for those that continue to run tournaments that way. We can have these experiences. So
One of the things I noticed that they do that a lot of tournaments don't do, and I
What's
mean,
that?
they also have, you know, they have like 3 tournaments going on because they have the NASCA, they have the non-NASCA, and then they also have like the Amerikick interschool type thing going on. But they had multiple coordinators. You know, they have Ronnie Presley, who's running the NASCA side. You also had Jared, who was a coordinator for a lot of it. You also had the guys that were running the Amerikick side. You had a lot of people that were running different things, and so it really made it good. David, you're right, man. The hotel was nice. He liked it better than Sheraton. I agree, but I just, the scenery, man, the scenery. Honestly, you could, if you sat at the cafe, all right, let's say this cafe was kind of in the middle area, all right. You sat there at 6 a.m., you sat there at 6 p.m., you sat at 2 p.m., you sat there at midnight, you sat there at 2 a.m. No matter what, you're going to see some of the craziest outfits you've ever seen. You're going to see some wildness. You're going to see, it was worth it, man. Just sitting there. I can't share with you all the things that I saw, but man,
you could share some of the things.
I shared a little bit. I shared that I saw a real life butthead. Okay. I shared that. All right. I don't understand why all these people bring dogs to the casino, but okay. And then some don't have them on
Bring
a
a
leash.
dog.
Yeah, there's a lot of dogs there, man. I don't get
Oh,
it.
it's probably their service dog, but really it's their
No,
good luck dog.
it's not. It was not. And yeah, John, you're right. The hallway was a show. There were several. I'm just going to tell you, maybe you can look it up, but dang it, what's his name? Long Shorty, okay? Yeah, Long Shorty is a band, all right, that was there. And John said the dog was playing the slots. But Long Shorty was a band there that was playing in one of the clubs. There's about like 2 or 3 different clubs. There's all kinds of stuff. And I'm just telling you, you need to look it up. It's the most eclectic group band I've ever seen in my life. That's all I can say. But man, it's just so much. And I mean, it was just a good time. Like, and again, like I said, it's so much fun when you are walking around and you're seeing people, you know, and you're walking around and you're like, all right, let's go over here. What are you guys gonna do? Oh, we're gonna go to the boardwalk. Okay. Hey, we're gonna go play. We're gonna go play craps. All right, we're gonna go do roulette. All right, I'll watch you. You know, I mean, so many things, right? And I mean, there's just so many stories, and I
But
love
you
it.
gotta
And
love that. You gotta love being able to have options for things to do.
it
Otherwise,
makes me remember like going to tournaments in Vegas and feeling like that, right? And just being like,
yeah.
oh, you know, and so
And
I
National Harbor has some of that we were talking about. Probably not. It doesn't have the people watching. I can guarantee you that.
not no, not as much. No. But there's a lot of fun where everyone can walk around, see people, and yeah, it was just some great memories.
Which tournament has the? Let's chat about that. Which tournament had the best? Like you can't make this up. People watching.
This one's up there. Okay, this one's up there. I was sharing with the Grosses about my first national tournament when I was like 10. We were going to somewhere in New Jersey. So we dropped friends off with us who were going to help with the drive in Atlantic City. And then from Atlantic City to the tournament, which is like maybe 30 minutes an hour, I saw my first hit and run. I saw my first stabbing, and I
Oh
saw
yeah,
my
I
first
remember you
fight.
saying that.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before. And so, yeah, so I mean, New Jersey and Atlantic City is definitely in there. Um, oh, I would say New Orleans is probably the only other place that New Orleans, go downtown Bourbon Street. Oh my God, you know. Um, yeah.
See, and then I guarantee you, Chicago would be there, but the time of year it
Oh,
is makes a difference.
and I didn't, yeah, Chicago. I didn't even get to really go to the pool bar. Like
What
that was wild. So like
was apparently
there,
a thing.
the pool was like, think of like a Vegas casino type pool, right? With the big,
I'm with you.
but it was covered and everything. And you had to pay a cover to even get in, even in the daytime, like $20 to get in. At night, it was like 40 or 50. And it was packed. There was bands, there was all kind. I mean, it was wild, man. I have not been able to hear yet from people about how it was, those that went Saturday night, but yeah, it was rocking out. We were just there we were just sat outside looking from the inside saying, all right, all right. So that was one thing. Okay, $30 for non-guests, $20 for guests. And that's, I think, during the day.
So that's wild, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's like a
there's
Carnival
that.
cruise party.
That's exactly what it reminded me of. I would say a cruise.
And
would
I've
be-
never even been on Carnival Cruise.
So that's one. New Orleans is definitely like that. Actually, Chicago, when it was back in the 2000s, where it was like, I think in like a way different area. I don't even know where, but it was pretty rough. There was definitely some people watching.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's been in some different areas. Like it's been in Rosemont as well. When you're like, this is not Chicago.
How long ago was that?
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah, so that was probably where I was when that, yeah, Rosemont, yeah. It
Yeah.
was pretty intense there. That was where I don't know if I shared this story on the show or not.
Well, sounds like you're about.
It's a little different now that it's live. Back then I could share things and it would be on, just pod and we're like, all right, now live. I'm like, oh man, we're live on Facebook. Should I share? But we were all like, it was myself, like it was pretty much whoever was there from CJB, whoever was there from SES, whoever was there from Paul Mitchell, all of us together there at AKA, all hanging out. And we just went to like across the street to get food, right? When we come out, there is this, let's just call it crackhead family. And this guy is dragging his wife, he said, dragging her and just saying, can somebody go ahead and do something inappropriate so I can go to the hospital and to my wife so I can go to the hospital. So, and yeah, and so myself and I think a couple of us who are 16 are like, well, what the heck? Where are we getting approached, by? And yeah, it was a lot going on. Okay. I can't even say all the stuff, but the cops came and kind of cleared it all up. But I thought that, my friends from New Jersey, like Ninja and Rock and all of us, we're going to have to get in a scrap with some guys.
Man,
I'm being very polite. I'm not even going into it. I probably already said too much, but yeah. So yeah, Chicago definitely takes it for that.
I mean, yeah. If people say like it's the most dangerous thing ever, it's not the most dangerous place ever. You're fine,
This guy.
right?
This guy.
But yeah, you'll find some interesting things. You don't gotta look far to
No.
find intrigue. That's for sure.
No, and I tell you, New Orleans is definitely one of those. New Orleans is one of those, and I think right now, I think Atlantic City is definitely up there. I mean, and I didn't even have to leave. I didn't even leave the Harris. Okay, so imagine if we went out other places. So yeah. Again, overall, congrats to the Russo family, the Liker family, everyone for being involved in that. That helps put that on. NASCA, another great event, and hey, they got the next one is Cowboy Up for them. And, there's a lot of great events coming up. So everyone make sure you go out and support. And we love what we're doing because we have some exciting news coming up about our, Brett was there taking some headshots.
Oh, we got Martial Arts Center Network. Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
Martial Arts Center Network. We have our new
We got our new
news coming
thing.
out soon, so it's going to be exciting. So make sure you guys get on board. You can message us. You can message the Instagram at Main Network, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Anything else?
I'm excited for it to launch as well. But go ahead.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, any other news that from the weekend? I mean, am I going to talk about it this week or next week? I don't know. I know there was. Let's go ahead because I promised that I would address it because I think it's cool and I know he was excited about it. But
all right, let's do it.
Alex Reyes is one of the new members of Team Revolution, and he is super excited about being on the team with us. Pretty cool that Alex and I are now teammates after all these years. But also he is on as a breaker. All right. And so we are one of the first teams. Again, there's been other teams to have breakers, but this is one of the first times that a team that is one of the high level teams that has people in forms and fighting and everything else, having a breaker on the team, at least in NASCA. Obviously there were some breakers in NBL on certain teams, right? Because that was a thing, but really not that many. So I tell you what, I'm backing Alex. I like what he's doing. Not everyone agrees, but you know what?
But
Like,
here's what-
this dude's having fun.
I shoot things straight. I think this is going to be a good addition to the team, but not for what is there. Alex being on there for breaking, whatever. That's what I say. Because I look at that and I'm like, well, how many tournaments have?
Well, that's what you're forgetting.
Breaking.
It's growing so much. So think about this. Since Alex has pushed breaking for the last year,
Yes.
Look what happened. Now, breaking had his own night again at the U.S. Open. The breaking divisions at the U.S. Open, I think they said they doubled in size from what they were in the past, all because of what he's been doing. Now, there's so many other tournaments putting it on because of what he's doing. So
listen, I love it. I think it's entertaining. I think it's great for people who don't know the sport martial arts world. It's a great thing to use as well, because you may not know much about martial arts competition, but man hit board should break. That's cool.
That's true. Because you know what
I mean?
Yeah, I mean, one of my students, he kind of got tired of watching. Like we were on the train together, right? And we were watching. Well, let's see what we can watch on this. And it was like, I'm tired of watching forums. But every time we had breaking on there, scroll this over. It was like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. This is cool.
Right, because it's easy to know. It's like that's why boxing will always be forever, popular and maybe at the top, because it's easy. Punch that guy. I want that guy to not be standing. I want to be the one standing.
Right.
Simple. Right.
Well, and yeah, like you said, him as a competitor, I think he brings a lot. I think he brings a lot of excitement. I I mean, dude, you got two of the craziest guys now and performers on the team. You got him and me on the same team. That's crazy. You know, I smash water bottles over my head, you know, and he paints his face. So hey, we're not that different. Okay. All right. So
let's look at this. I
but then
want to bring up another
also
angle.
his expertise in what he's done in the past as a
Getting there.
coach, what he brings
There you
social
go.
media wise, how he can help the team members learning how to grow that. There's so many great things, right?
Well, yes, but you brought up what I was going to bring up, which is the guy is a pretty good coach.
Yes.
If he does that, I think that could be a thing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if that's what he wants. That's not where I don't think that's where he is right now, you know?
Yeah.
He's just, dude, I tell you, man, Alex has grown so much, especially the past year or two, just on how just having some great conversations with him, whether we like how appreciative and grateful he is, you know, and how just the blessings that, you know, he knows everything that he's been able to do over the past 10 years, 15 years, they're all blessings, you know. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see, you know, him grow. And yeah, I think it's a cool thing. It definitely shocked some people today. I think it was a shock. You know?
I think it should shock almost everybody, just
Yeah.
for so many reasons, because we don't have people
No
don't
one
have
expected,
anybody
right?
who's a breaker on a team. That's not a thing.
Well, right, and it's also probably either the most known breaker, but also probably the most controversial breaker, right? So,
Well, yeah, I would agree with both of those things.
yeah. So, hey, we got the Dennis
So
Rodman.
all of that's
We
good.
got the Dennis Rodman of the sport now, so we're good. It's kind of a good
You got the
analogy.
Dennis Rodman of the sport. That was pretty good. That was great.
I don't know. He may like that. He may be mad at me
I
later.
don't know that he's gonna like it, but
I
what
don't
I
know.
mean, you'd be like, "Oh, you talking about a Hall of Famer?" You know?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way you spin it.
Oh man. But anyways, but no, I'm excited for that. As far as everything else, I mean, again, a great weekend, a lot of fun, and you know, it made me think, hey, I definitely want to come back just because it was a good experience, you know. And
That's what we all need is good experiences. Because without them, why do we want to go?
right,
Doesn't need to always be great outcomes.
right,
Right? Good experiences. Right.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Awesome, man. All right. So next week you're going to be gone next week, right? You have an event you got to do. Right?
I'm trying to think of options, but no, I can't. At this time going live at night, I can't.
Yeah. So next
If we
week,
do something different, maybe.
Chris Walker is going to co-host with me, and then we're
Love
going to have on Trey Brown, as well as I think his you know, Troy is going to join us as well. So we're going to have a great time.
Missing the show.
Man, I know, man. I know. It's all good though. You'll be
Gonna
good.
have Trey, Troy, and Chris.
Yeah, that's next week. The week after that, we have another guest. Week after that, we'll have Marcel Jones on. So we're going to have a lot of great, you know, 3 guests in a row. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I tell you, congrats again to Andrea, and thank you, because that was a great show. You know, like sometimes you never know. We're like, yo, let's get this person on. Let's get this person on, especially the new, you know, the younger ones. You know, younger people. Like let's bring them on. People that haven't had that experience or that time to talk yet. You know, I know we always try to get some history involved, but
well, that was one of the things I thought she did such a good job of. Is listen, I don't want people. I'm not like an old man going, "Oh, this generation," but I mean, I think even they would accept this about themselves, that this specific generation is not as advanced in communicating because they don't have to the same way you and I have to always communicate. The way we always have to have actual conversations, right? You don't actually have to do that the same way in this generation. You just don't. Most of them don't. So I just thought her mental approach was very good. She communicated things very well. Right. That's why I was like, man, you seem like you got the mentality of someone who's in like their 40s, but you're clearly not. You know what I mean?
And she was smart too. She had to give me a compliment. So she knows exactly how to play the game, you know.
Yeah. And that's what you got to accept it as. This is a game. This is
Right.
the game. I'm going to be really good at this game.
Yep. There you go. There you go. All right, Alex.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week.